bought it in November and they moved and he had to sell it. I mean,
yeah, that was crappy timing for selling.
It was.
He did probably.
Well, you know, we have a son, another one, who was living out in Wyoming, and he was working for the state of Wyoming, and when he was asked to be the worship leader in the church, yeah, it was asked to be the worship leader and the church as a job, and the business manager of a lodge that the church owned in Laramie, well, in the mountains. And so he did that, and then they said, we'd like for you to do seminary. Carla, okay, Sue, and this is Lori. Sue and Lori.
Hi.
And Mark and Russ.
And
Carla.
It's us.
Okay, so the
Three boys. Oh my goodness, you're just like.
Woo! Giddy up.
Let me give you. Ready to go.
Beautiful horses.
Where are you folks from? Rockford, Illinois.
Northern Illinois. Dixon, Illinois.
Oh my goodness, are you all together?
Yeah, we're came together.
They're together.
We're from Washington.
No standing at any time.
Okay.
Pardon?
Fun.
Keep your hands off the steering wheel. If for any reason it's not with carriage, then ask a bunch of dumb but loyal questions. You know George. This hill is the only part of the lodge that will not be carriage bridges, well, this isn't one of them either. It's also built with the federal government to look like a Rockefeller Bridge. Now, is it everybody's first time for a carriage ride to Acadia?
Yes.
Oh, good, us too. Alright, this is the Park Loop Road, the infamous one-way going that way. So Thunderhole and all your touristy stuff is back there. We're going to turn right and go an hour, block, and right back here. As we go along, I'm going to talk about carriage roads in Rockefeller and the legacy of the family here.
Just a wonder. It's the part
As
I
well
read
as the national park, how it came to be and all that. And we'll talk about some of the ports. Back, relax. It's a little chilly this morning, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. We don't have any mosquitoes out here today.
Correct. Good.
A couple of things I want you to know about this road system as we start off. First of all, unlike the roads in northern Illinois, every time we get in our car back, news in it. If you were in your car, and he had something stupid on the radio like the Green Bay football game or something. And all you'd have to do is push a button and turn it off, right? I don't have any off buttons. My daughter will attest to it.
She's not going to tip you.
He's hit. I love it. Anyway.
And we're married.
Courtesy to the animal, for two practical reasons.
I
have to pick it up in the morning, so I'll usually pick it up just in one spot. Secondly, I try not to ask my horses to do things that I'm pretty sure I can't. Anybody needs that explained to them, I'll be glad to draw you a diagram later. But if you think about when they were building the cities that I just named, as they built those cities, they left green space. And they built carriage roads. Boston Common, Central Park, Fairmount Park in Philadelphia, Webster Park, and they left carriage space for themselves. It's pretty cool. Look, right now, look down the side. We're riding on several layers of granite slabs that run all the way underneath the road. Okay? You think about that first wall we came by when the horses were caught into the very beginning. It looked like a stone wall forever. If you Google broken stone carriage roads, the first thing you will see on your search will be the carriage roads of John D. Rockefeller Jr. in Acadia National Park. This is supposed to be the best example of a broken stone carriage road system, still in active use in the world today. People bring their horses here from all over the United States. You might have noticed as you were waiting for me, there were some 500 horses back riding people down there. We, as part of our operation, about 20% of the revenue here, people come from all over the United States with their own horses. We start taking reservations on the first business day of January, totally non-stop for 3 days. Some people come back year after year, and we always have some new people who come. We have some people here from Florida, yes, checking it out to come next year. They were up there on vacation and they discovered they could bring their horses. We have one gentleman that comes to Fort Lauderdale every summer. We have one lady who comes from Southern Pines, North Carolina. You know, they tell us we're a very divided country, but I've discovered one thing we all have in common. And when I run for president, I'm going to put it on my bumper sticker, okay? You tell me if you don't think I'm onto something. We have all sat in a Kohler toilet.
Yes.
I can't quite figure out how that's going to go in the bumper. Anyway, Mr. Kohler from Kohler, Wisconsin, comes here every summer with his big, beautiful horses. He'll be among his trainer, not me. He'll be among the first to call in January when we start to take reservations. They want certain weeks in July. He'll be here with his trainer and his grooms and all that. He's an older man now, and he literally has a hydraulic lift that puts him up and puts him on the carriage. Beautiful horse, very, 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 very nice. He probably has more money tied up in his cigar than I've got in my horse. So, this broken stone concept is lots of drainage. Drainage is the key to a good road. I don't care whether you go in Florida or in Maine. So, underneath this road, every 100 feet are culverts and drains. If it was a warm day in the summer, I would have told you coming off that first bridge that any of you see mosquito in the next hour, let me know. I could drive horses over here typically 5 hours a day. Hardly ever see a mosquito. Drainage, we come here in the spring of the year, there's no standing water.
Yeah, no mosquitoes.
The surface we're riding is about 18 inches of crushed stone and clay. Clay does not absorb water. Clay gets water.
Yeah.
So if we get a heavy rain right now and the sun's come out, within 24 hours it'll be dusty again out there. This road just does not retain moisture, which is key to it. Now, right now, we're probably riding on 6 or 8 layers of granite stone. Remember, they come all the way underneath the road.
You said granite stone, how big are the slabs?
That big, bigger than that, smaller than that.
Okay.
When we go back down the hill,
I feel like this. I'm so sorry. You're pointing at the stones and I look too ungullible. Who did?
I did.
Doc who?
somebody started. So the early part of this work was done by hand, not the whole thing. By the mid-20s, they would have had some mechanical power, some early steam shovels and some crawlers. We're going to stop up here at the top, and you'll be able to get a nice picture without the trees.
Thanks.
They had these long steel drills with a star-shaped bit, configured in such a way that every time the guy hit the end of the drill with a slate ring, it would turn like that. Hour upon hour, they were banging the stones. I think that's how you do the drill on it. When the hole was deep enough, they would pull the drill out, fill the hole with gunpowder and dynamite, and load the stone. Notice how uniform the coloring is here. That's basically the same color as over here. He really wanted his roads to blend in, so if the stone was going to be visible, it probably was cut from someplace close by. Underneath this road are red granite and black granite and gray granite, all kinds of different colors, cut from different quarries here on the island. People ask me all the time, how much the horses work every day? I never asked about it. It's easy putting up with you, feline eye. Most of my horses come from a place called Holmes County, Ohio. About an hour's drive south of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's some of the prettiest country you'll ever see. My daughter and I, this is not my daughter, my daughter and I go out there. This has become a joke. We go out there in April usually when things are pretty ugly and muddy here in Maine. We buy our horses horse traders or individual farmers. Bought that pair of horses $5,900 15 years ago. Wow. They told me attention.
Is she your great-granddaughter?
Big bird? Yeah. Woo! No.
us.
We're
Oh, wow.
Our first time.
So that's what they would do. They would have like a baseball game, and then they would have a big lunch with lots of horses. Typically, each family would favor a type of horse, breed of horse. The Rockefeller breed, the Morgans, something called a spotty thoroughbred. Fancy carriages, and the carriage, they let me show them off. If you lived in the cities of the United States in the 1800s, they were pretty livable places to spend the summer. Everything was built close together, hot, sticky. There was no electricity, so there was no air conditioning. Out the street, there were hundreds of these guys leaving, filling in the press. But in the 1800s, there were very limited office cars. There were no planes. You could only go where a train would take you, steamship line might run, or where your horse would go. Nevertheless, they were always looking for a way to get away. And they discovered it. Okay, you got to have one before you leave. They do a breath test on you when you leave the island, and if you haven't had a pothole, they'll turn you right back. Can't leave the island. These horses have been working here 14 years, and they know where to stop. You feel them slowing down?
Yeah.
They know exactly where to stop. Sarah and I are just window dressing here. Just a couple of pretty faces. Notice the sign. It says Jordan Pond that way. And then it says Jordan Pond that way. Now, if you're in beautiful downtown Chicago and you wanted to go up to Green Bay to see a real football team, and there was only one sign, and it said Green Bay that way, and then it said Green Bay that way, you might think Blagojevich was back in charge, right?
Yeah.
Rockefeller apparently believed that we spend too much time worrying about where we're going, not enough time enjoying the trip.
Okay.
For him, it was all about the trip, and everything he built up was structured. So if you wander around long enough, pretty good chance you'll find your way out.
That's nice.
That's
Your
right.
pond's 3 miles that way, roughly, and about 6 miles if you go this way. And he frankly didn't care if you get lost or not. True story, I meet a guy out here one day, he's pushing his bicycle. He got closer, he stopped, so I stopped, and he said, "Can you help me?" I said, "I'll try." He said, "My wife and I have been separated, I don't know where she went." I said, "Well, I haven't seen her, but I'll keep an eye out for her." About a half hour later, I meet him again, still pushing his bicycle, still looking. I think she got the pin in the bank account. She was halfway to Cancun before he realized that he was walking in circles. All right, the train came right on the island every week. And you know, by the way, right up there is the top of that black building. Yeah. Anywhere.
Granddaughter is named Sarah as well. That's the expertise
Anywhere in the Amish country, Maine or Illinois or wherever, these big horses are expected to work pretty hard during the growing season. When they come here, none of my horses will ever do more than 4 hours a day, and that would be a bit unusual. None of them will ever do more than 2 hours at one time. They do have 2 2-hour runs. None of them ever go back to back. They're the same ride at 10:30 with people, not nearly as nice as these, with a different pair of horses. They never come up that steep hill, that first hill, more than 3 times a day. They all have time off, at least a full day off a week. These guys, because of their age, 20, guessing, 21, 22, 22, 23, they get several days off a week. But this team you have to be careful of. You can't give them too much time off, because then they're really hard to handle. They are very, very forward horses. Great pair of horses.
They always pull the same team?
Yeah, keep them the same team. As long as their health is good and all that, but we do mix in that some when we have horses that die or whatever. But the best part of their gig is they only work 5 months out of the year. So that, boys, 6 days to go. A week from right now, these horses will be on vacation. I'm going to take them home on Friday next week. Where do you live? Believe it or not, north of here. You thought there was nothing north of here. The Arctic Circle.
Oh, yeah.
If you follow Interstate 95, it starts in Key West, Florida, and ends in Folsom, Maine, right on the Canadian border. We've had a number of Amish folks move up there over the last 20 years, and so I have a lot of friends in the community. Never mind. I pay them, okay? And I pay these folks in the Amish community to look after them for winter. They don't work them. They just feed them out 7 months. They do absolutely nothing. Very proud of them.
And then they're very cantankerous when you start.
No, they're not that. They know exactly. They know exactly. You bring them out here and they'll know exactly. See, these guys are stopping on their own right now, okay? Why do I have you here? Why am I paying you to be here? Over from Bar Harbor, we'll get in the vehicle and drive back out up Route 1. Very pretty over there.
That's where we're going. It's good. Yeah, we're going there tomorrow, yeah.
Whoa, boys.
We're gonna go to Bass Harbor today.
Okay.
We've been there, but not lighthouse. It's hard to get places to park. We're trying to pick the areas that would be less.
Yeah, we kind of thought
That
that.
we know. That's like one of the number one
This
places.
is kind of a draw. The lobby road at the top. It's too steep for Mr. Rockefeller's horse. Yeah.
Best friend married our daughter-in-law's best friend. Yeah. Their daughter is our daughter-in-law's best friend.
Well, Steve went to the University and British Council, and Steve met Janice's wife there. And she's always said, but anyway, long story short,
We're talking about it. We are.
anyway, they couldn't walk into the lake, so it was wrong, and they said no.
If you have any relatives or friends looking for work next summer, we hire a lot of young people who have horseback there. They don't have to know how to do this. Teach them. You can teach anybody. I'll just point to you. Yes, you did.
Thank you for having my back.
That's all we can have of you. Your food needs to go away from us.
That's a fair point, that's a fair point.
It's a pretty good summer job. We have our own housing, we have our own cook. Back and forth. Most of the men in Rockefeller's crew were laborers. They were paid between $3 and $5 a day. Look at these walls behind me. They were left there by Italian craftsmen called stone layers. If you had a skill or a craft, you might be a little more money. Again, as with those bridges I talked about, 14 years I've been here, I've never known the Park Service to have to do a day of maintenance. If you're not scared of heights, if you want to look off the backside of the carriage, look straight down. Right now, we're probably riding on 8 or 10 layers of granite stone to bring us up to this level. There probably are 10,000 pieces of granite from back there to here. I'd love to know how long this piece of road took to build. Think about it.
Surely a good thing this became a national.
Horse people? Yeah. They all become friends. I've seen copies of correspondence between Rockefeller and Elliot expressing concern that Dorr was spending too much of his own money. Again, Dorr became excessive, and that's why he's known to this day as the father of the two. They said when he died, there was barely enough money to bury him. Horse people? Yeah. Coach houses, guest quarters, 30 quarters. When Junior passed away in 1960, 12 years after his wife, the Ivy had grown to over 100 rooms. And we tore it down in 1962. Now, everything I'm going to tell you from here to the end of the ride comes from David's memoir and my research. I fact-checked everything I'm going to tell you, and I know it all to be accurate. David says it's a very candid book. I think he's not very complimentary to his father sometimes. His father remarried in 1950. Junior, in those days, that's 25 or 30 today. Junior is generally regarded as the greatest philanthropist of the 20th century. David said his father believed he had a third, he saved a third, and he gave a third away. He was not a businessman. He told everybody, I'm no businessman. You'll understand a little more about that in a minute. It's believed that he gave away in the order of $537 million. Money back in. I'm going to give you some examples. It's not an exhaustive list. I want you to remember that almost all of the philanthropy starts after 1914. When Rockefeller got here, he no doubt knew the Carnegies and the Fords and that kind of thing. The other thing he would have discovered when he got here was that he could not drive a car anywhere on this island. And those same well-to-do people, even though they were making their fortune from the automobile, they had banned automobiles totally from this island. Not unusual back in the day to restrict where cars can go because they made a lot of noise, backfired, and scared the horses and children. So Rockefeller was good with that. We know that because when they first student first tried to change it, a few years after he got here, he testified against it. So for about 6 years, for about 6 years, 1908 to about 1914, Junior used to drive around here with his horses without having to worry about one of those nasty old Fords. However, progress being progress, they tell us there was a group of businessmen, land developers, I don't know if their name was Trump or not, but they decided they wanted to develop the island. And apparently felt that in order to be successful, they were going to need cars. Well, by 1914, 1915, cars were coming on everywhere. But there were no cranes, no bulldozers, no jackhammers. There were horses and men, steel tools and dynamite. He starts to hire his own crew to get away from the car. They tell us at some point the crew numbered as high as 200 men. And he put them to work out here with hand tools to build his own personal carriage road system. And he kept them out here for 27 years.
Wow.
1915 to 1942. Wow. Now there were some fits and starts, but it was mostly a continuous process. The park came on in 19, and so at some point he moves off his land and goes to roads on the parkland. But it was mostly on his land. Right through World War I, right through the Great Depression, right at the beginning of World War II. Now think about wherever you live back in Illinois. They built 52 miles of these roads.
Wow.
So we're going to see less than 3 miles. During that same 27-year period, over there in the woods, private property, they built 16 beautiful big granite bridges, which are just as straight and true today as the day they were first built. We don't have cars and trucks going over them every day. I've been driving horses here this is my 14th year, and I've never known the National Park Service to do a day of structural maintenance. As with these roads, when I come around in the morning, you could see up the Carriage here nice and smooth it is. When I come around in the morning with my pickup truck, I pick up the horse boot, I drag a big piece of chain link fence along behind to smooth out the divots, because the horses are causing divots every time they put the feet in. That's about the only maintenance these roads receive on a regular basis.
Wow. Rolling Burris.
Good!
I told you, I knew it. I just had to think hard enough.
You're one of the very few people that ever pulled that story off. I've got more to tell you. I've got more to tell you. Yeah. He was also the one that built the mausoleum to himself.
Okay.
Oh, he built this I remember reading the story after he left and kind of faded away. But he built this magnificent place to bury himself.
Okay. Kind of like in
He was
Pharaoh.
the Secretary of State for a while. He was the Attorney General for a while.
Oh, the sun's back.
So,
And now the sun is up. Now we go.
I'm taking them back to the fertilizer. Yeah. Down there, just need to bring your own horses. You live over there, 5-star bunkhouse, right there. Full-time cook and cook shack. When you stop, I'm going to jump off and go up and hold the horses by the head. You folks would like to come up and pat the horses, please feel free to. $5,900 for that pair of horses.
Wow.
Enjoy the rest of your time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming, guys. I hope you did enjoy your ride with us.
Yes, we did. It was wonderful.
Papa?
Yeah.
That's going to be a nice movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gotta get a picture of that.
We'll walk the rest of the day.
This guy's probably the biggest horse we have here. He probably goes pretty close to a ton.
How many hands?
17. Half Belgian horse. Anything about horses?
Nope. That I don't.
And which one was this one?
Doc. He's the lazy one. He's the oldest one. Duke is the...
I read your story. story.
Oh, yeah.
We read the whole history. When the minute you said, I thought the whole time, he's the lawyer, he's the man, but he's not telling anybody. But there was a big write-up on you. I read the whole thing.
When I get the
Yeah.
Illinois people, I have to kind of reveal it. But that's too good a story.